the one with the long hair that is up in the sky primarily,
Microphone.
is the one with the weird arm. However, we do see the one on the ground have some attachments on the
Microphone.
left arm, but the left arm doesn't seem deformed in any way. But it does get the
Microphone.
flamethrower attachment, which is pretty cool. But there are a lot of theories going around that
Quem é que
the
tá
link
botando o
on the
microfone no
ground
rabo aí
is
já?
actually
Nem
might
começou o
just be a
bagulho.
placeholder, and maybe they're just gonna like. Just kidding. It's been Zelda the whole time. I don't
Fala,
know if
Chrono.
that's gonna happen or not. But it looks like they're very distinctively two links, and as Zach was saying, are these
Tamo
two
voltando
links
aí,
across
ó.
two different time periods?
Galera.
I think one of the things that
Quem quiser
hints to that
interagir
is that
ao
the
vivo,
link
em
in the
tempo real
sky
com a gente aqui, ó,
is used for the
twitch.tv/ArnaldoDK.
equipment that
Segue no
the link
Twitter, no
on the
Instagram,
wild.
Facebook, ArnaldoDK.
I have so many
Muito
questions.
obrigado aí a
There is
todo
so
mundo.
much Treehouse.
Namco
I've
Bandai,
actually
daqui a
watched this
pouco,
trailer
faltam
like
28
12 times
minutos.
because I was so interested in everything that
Joe,
goes on.
Joe, what was
Tudo leva a crer que não vai ser bom. Pra fechar com chave de fezes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like
Aquela
this
chavezinha.
is all I could
É
have
que nem
hoped for.
aquelas
Like you said,
bolas
it's
de
1 minute
chocolate
and a half
de boteco,
just
né?
full of
Feitas com
things to
gordura
speculate on.
hidrogenada,
So
sabor,
what arm is the thing that got me?
sabor açúcar.
Specifically the fact that it seems to presage the idea that this isn't
Mas
just
seria. Vamos sonhar um pouco. O mundo do pirulito, Namco Bandai. O novo Soul Calibur.
We see new weapons. You know,
Mais o quê?
you're obviously expecting a certain amount of that stuff, but I think it's easy to forget now that it's.
A gente não vai ver nada disso, né? Bobear, eles vão fazer uma conferência inteira só pra mostrar que os bonecos do TK estão chegando no Super Smash Bros.
There are moments in this, you know, we see the new version of the stasis power. We've got new ways to mess with stuff. That's what's really exciting to me in this.
Yeah, I'm wondering, and let's just check the pulse on this one. Do you all think that breakable weapons will return? I feel like that
Vão
was such a
lançar mais
part
um
of the last
Season
game. It
Fighter
seemed like
Pass
people came
pro
around to it, you know, like it
Dragon
was an
Ball
issue
Fighter
early on in
Z.
the game when your weapons are breaking constantly. Back into the game doesn't seem like too much of a problem. Most people kind of liked it. So what do you think about this one?
I don't know. I'm of two minds. I think that the weapon durability thing was
Porra,
like a major
Project
sticking
Cars
point for a lot of
4,
people.
mas já acabou
Like
de
a
sair
lot
o
of
3,
people's
porra.
issues with Breath of the Wild come directly from the idea that like, oh, the weapon durability is bad. I personally really liked it because I thought it really enforced the idea that you have to switch up weapons, you have to try different fighting styles, you have to try all these different things, and that's why they're showering you with these weapons constantly, right? So I would like to see it make a return. Maybe that durability could be increased so that stuff isn't breaking as often for folks that didn't dig it in the first place. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a core tenet to what Breath of the Wild is as a new, you know, entry in the Zelda
Depois
series.
da
So
conferência
I'd
da
like to see it stick
Nintendo,
around.
cara.
Yeah, I actually wonder if some of the arm mechanic stuff could maybe
Capcom.
potentially be a
Eu não
standby
espero mais
weapon
nada
that
da
you do
E3,
have in
velho.
case of emergency when all your weapons
E3 pra
break.
mim
That's a good way
virou
of sort of meeting fans in the middle of going, hey, we kept the weapon breakability stuff, but also, you know, if everything
Natal que
goes
você
south,
ganha meia.
you have this unshatterable firearm Mega Man style, and you can do cool stuff with it.
I like that.
Yeah, how do you feel about like the weapon combat and stuff like that in this
Dia
game?
da
Joe? Do you
criança,
think
você esperando
they're going
ganhar
to
um
expand on this a
videogame,
lot,
você
maybe
ganha
dump
um
in tons and tons
conjuntinho
more
do
weapons? Where do you think
Super-Homem.
this will go?
I guess to me, it looks
Conjuntinho
more,
C e A,
you know,
porra.
who knows what
A
they're leaving
merda.
out of a trailer, but to me, it looks more like they're emphasizing the idea that you can do different things as Link innately, as you say, like that kind of backup set of stuff. You know, you have your bomb power and that kind of stuff. I could see that kind of thing being expanded. To me, like I'm also a big fan of the weapon durability, and I think what they'd lose by getting rid of it if they did, and you know, we're way into speculation now, is the idea that, you know, Breath of the Wild gave you so much. It really rewarded you at every turn. Like you would go around a corner and find new stuff, and it felt like you were constantly being given things for looking around you. And I think you would lose that if you were, you know, kind of paring back how many times you were finding things. So I think, like you say, I think there's a great midpoint there by
Tem
going,
aquele sabonete do Clube
here's
da
an
Luta, né?
expanded arsenal of powers that you always have, and
Feito
also all
com
the other stuff that you can
gordura
find.
de
I wouldn't
lipo.
expect that to go too wild beyond that.
Casey, very quickly, we still haven't seen dungeons, and that's something that a lot of us
Cara,
are asking
porra.
for.
A
We did
E3
see
que já
the
foi o maior
castle flip
evento,
in the
né,
air,
cara? Hoje em
which seems
dia
to me like
virou
the kind of awesome cutscene you would see before going into a dungeon in the
concurso
game. But
palhaço
most of it
feliz,
still
porra.
is kind of still above ground. Do you think we'll get
Todo
dungeons in
mundo
this
com
game?
cara de
Or is there anything
palhaço,
here leading you to think that we will?
I think even
esperando
more so
anúncios
than
e
the
novidades e travando.
Fall down into the depths, and I think might be reading into this a little bit, but that might suggest that we have to go down into a dungeon to rescue. I hope not rescue her. I'm kind of done rescuing people, but maybe we'll go down there, or maybe Zelda will be doing the dungeoneering while the two
Já
links
foi o
from
tempo
different
de
timelines are doing things.
apresentações épicas com orquestra.
We veered directly into like
Hoje,
fan,
no
we made our own
máximo-
fan game at this point. This is
There you
great.
go.
Can I put an idea out there?
Yeah,
Do it.
real
What
quick,
about-
let's hear it.
No
Oh yeah.
máximo,
What about if those islands up
uma
top, which are,
vitrolinha ali,
limited spaces? What if those are your dungeons? You know, you
japonês fazendo
have
assim
to
com o
move it
dedo,
around, you know, how
né?
Hyrule Field
Querendo seu
before, when you
dinheiro.
go up, that's your space
That's,
to,
yeah.
Ó,
to maneuver
I'm into
around.
that.
Nintendo.
So sort of like reverse dungeon, upside down thing. That's great. I'm very into
Eles
it.
fazem isso porque eles querem dinheiro.
Well, we have tons more Nintendo to
Vai,
talk
vai,
about
vai,
in
vai.
just a minute, but first we
Give
will
me your
take a
money.
very short break. So take a deep breath. We will gather our thoughts because there's tons more Nintendo announcements to talk about. Today was awesome.
Keep
IGN will
smiling.
return right after this, so don't go anywhere. Yeah, it's a link quote. Says that.
IGN Summer of Gaming is powered by Duracell Optimum. All summer
Duracell.
long, we're bringing you the
A
game
predileta do
announcements, developer
cachista.
interviews, and all the demos you care about. So get comfortable.
Inclusive, eu
and
tô
get
usando
ready to
pilhas
play.
Duracell agora, recarregáveis.
Upgrade
Olha,
your
cara,
Xbox
a E3
controller with
trollando.
Duracell Optimum batteries today.
Até a E3 não perdoa, cara. Isso aí tem o dedo do Velberano, isso daí, hein?
Not only is IGN the world's biggest media brand for games and entertainment, but we also have a team of some of the world's biggest fans of your favorite franchises. From breaking news and exclusives, never-before-seen looks at movies and games, to reviews, let's plays, and live streams, IGN brings you all the coverage you need, no
Eu
matter
tô
where
usando
you
aqui,
are.
ó.
Whether you're on IGN.com, the IGN app,
Pra não
YouTube, Facebook, or Snapchat,
dizer que eu tô
we've always
mentindo,
got
tá
you
até aqui do
covered.
meu lado, que eu botei pra
IGN,
recarregar
the
ontem.
number one source for all games and entertainment fans worldwide.
Powered by
Everybody loves
Duracell. Vou botar bonitinho aqui. Keep smiling.
To speedruns. We invite you to ride along with the developers as they watch, react, and enjoy some of the craziest gameplay by the most skilled speedrunners on the planet. Tune in every Saturday for a brand new episode.
Eu vejo uns vídeos de speedrunners de Mario 64, cara, é um bagulho completamente doente, cara, assim. Velho, eu sinto pena dos caras, velho. A pena. Eu prefiro jogar ao bedo, cara. Aí os caras cometem um errozinho e volta tudo. Para, velho. Tem coisas melhores na vida pra fazer, pô.
Me, Akeem Lawanson, host of IGN's news show, The Fix Entertainment. Whether it's the latest superhero scoop, film fiasco, or anime announcement, I'll be here covering all the breaking movie, TV, and streaming news that matters most to you. Make sure to catch The Fix Entertainment on IGN for your fix of entertainment news. Let's drop it.
Essa sequência do Venom parece uma merda, hein, velho. O primeiro filme já foi uma bosta. Esse Venom 2 aí, meu irmão. Angry Spartan, obrigado aí pelo Prime, velho. Seja bem-vindo.
Afterwards, and we need to talk about all of it. I'm Brian Altano, along with Casey, Zach, and Joe. Hello, everyone.
Hello,
Hi.
Brian.
Okay,
Hello.
so in the pre-show, we talked about Metroid Prime 4. Still a logo, by the way. No additional updates there. But they did let us know
Fala aí,
that,
Orlando.
it's coming along, it's happening, hasn't been canceled. But as a very, very awesome make good, we got the reveal of a brand new Metroid game, Metroid Dread, a Metroid title that has been 16 years in the works, canceled multiple times. A brand new 2D Metroid game out October 8th for Nintendo Switch.
A
Zach,
internet
let's start
dele
with
está
you.
zoada.
How are you feeling about this?
Fala Maxwell,
I mean-
fala Arthur.
I really wanted to see Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
And
O Series
the
S
next
tava em
best
promoção
thing is
no
a
Kabum, né?
new 2D Metroid. Metroid Dread has been rumored and sort of secret for so long that it was absolutely astounding to see that name pop up on screen. And this game looks sick. Like, it really looks like a cool new take on a 2D Metroid game. I know we talked a lot during the Treehouse presentation about how this looks like kind of a survival horror thing. It's got a totally different vibe.
Aguardando aí o começo da conferência
that
Bandai
I'm really
Namco ou Namco Bandai.
October is amazing, man. Like, I hope that we see Metroid Prime 4
Fala,
soon.
Igor.
But in lieu of that, this is the next best thing. I can't wait to play any.
Já tá mais caro lá no.
And it's coming from Mercury Steam, the
Kabum.
team behind Samus Returns, which is a game that I thought was pretty good. And so hopefully they'll take some of those learnings and apply
Cara, a
them
única
here
coisa que eu
and
achei
turn
legal
out
na
another
conferência da
awesome
Nintendo
Metroid
foi o
Super
aquele
cool if they took that
Crazy
game and put it on Switch, by the way,
Arcade
because I
lá.
think
So
a
that
lot of
too.
people kind of slept on it. It came out towards the very end.
Ah,
of
o
the
Fatal
3DS
Frame
life
também, né?
cycle.
Aquele Fatal Frame de Wii U.
Let's talk about this new robot, Emmy.
Emmy looks terrifying.
Yeah.
So if we were watching in the Treehouse demo, even the people who were playing on camera were being unnerved by Emmy. It seems like if it catches up to you, that's
Cara,
it. You're
esse
done.
Metroid
So
Dread
Samus
aí
has a lot of different tools in
tá
her
triste,
arsenal
velho.
to be stealthy.
Eu sei
So I think she
que
can use camo that
a
makes
gente
her
pode ser
turn
fã de
invisible
Metroid e
or at least
tal, o jogo
camouflage with the
na
surroundings
pegada
and be
clássica
still.
de
Emmy
plataforma
can't hear
meio
you come
2.5D,
and
mas
I think they use the word insta-kill you.
Mhm.
So
se você
but
for
I
pensar
also
no
think
lado
you might
qualidade
be
da
able
Nintendo,
to
selo
kill Emmy
de
as well, but it might not be worth
quality
the
approval
struggle.
da
And I think
Nintendo, esse
also
jogo ele
some of
tá
the
com um
secrets
visual
of this
muito
story and the
abaixo
mechanics, if you run out of energy, can
do
then suck
do
in
legado
force to be powered
da
again.
Samus e da
So there
franquia
seems to be a lot
Metroid. O
of
visual tá
different
muito
risk and
estranho, cara.
reward and management going
E
on
como nós
to
falamos
try
aqui,
and
o
stay
pessoal
away
do
from
chat
this
falou e eu
very
repito,
scary robot, which is only in
já tem
certain
jogos indie no
areas of
mercado.
this
Você
map
pode
that you'll
comparar
be
esse game
exploring
com Ori,
as
por
Samus.
exemplo, o primeiro,
Yeah, one of the
não o
things
segundo.
that
Compara
we
com
were
Ori,
talking
o
about
primeiro
earlier
Ori,
is
para
some
um
of
jogo
the,
de
and Zach just
plataforma.
touched on
Olha o
it too, but some of
gráfico
the
disso
creature
daí, cara.
design,
Eu sei
is
que é Metroid,
sort
eu
of
sei que
very
talvez
horror
você
based,
seja
you know,
fã de
it's a lot
Metroid.
deeper into the sort of
Eu
horror
gosto,
aesthetic than you
joguei
usually
o
see
Super
from
Metroid no Super
Metroid obviously
Nintendo,
gets into, you know, some
Metroid
horror stuff. There
Prime,
are some, you know,
mas
ghastly,
tá muito
horrible,
feio,
pulsing,
cara.
gigantic alien
Olha os
creatures,
cenários, velho. Parece que
brains
não,
that
parece que não
zip land on
carregou
your head
o...
and you take all
As
of
texturas
whatever's
parece que não
inside you out of it.
carregaram,
It's just
velho.
horrible. Like, they're just monsters and they're disgusting. But in this game, like, they're going with some like very kind of like distinctly kind of like ugly 80s 90 horror creatures that I'm really really into it. Joe, this is
Eles
the
fizeram uma
35th
edição
anniversary of
maneira aí,
the
uma
Metroid
edição de mídia
franchise.
física com
This is already more
artbook,
than I expected.
steelbook,
I will say that my expectations
cards,
for
ficou legal, mas
Samus's birthday party were extremely low. Do you think
eu não
we're gonna get more
esperava
from this?
um
Do you think there'll be
Metroid
even more to celebrate here from
2D,
Samus?
2.5D.
I can't see them
Esperava
doing
ver o
too
Metroid
much
Prime
more.
4,
I
mas
wouldn't be surprised to see some remakes.
se fossem anunciar esse game aí, eu esperava pelo menos um gráfico
really interesting things that the producer Sakamoto said
melhor.
in the Treehouse was
Pode ser um game divertidíssimo e tal, mas
in the 2D
visualmente ele tá
Metroid
bem
games.
feio.
So it is a direct sequel to the 2D games we know, and he
Algumas
said
pessoas
you're
falaram
meant
que
to
já
go
abriu a
through this game
pré-venda dele
trying
por
to
tá
work out why this is
299,
the
né?
end of that story. And so I could see them
Muito caro
you know,
também.
I could see them giving us a sort of re-releases that act as a run-up to the story of this game, maybe something along those lines. But they also said there is a prologue you can watch if you've never played any of them and get up to speed with that story. That's super interesting, and it ties into another little detail they said in the Treehouse as well, which is that whereas most Metroid games are about starting on the surface of a planet and working your way down into the core, this starts you in the core and has you trying to get out to get to the surface, which is not just like a really good horror story, like The Descent or something. It also feels like, is this the end of her career? You know, is this Samus's bounty hunting career? Is she trying to get out and retire, like fly off and just not come back to these horrible planets full of brain children? Like, I have to know where they're going with that stuff.
Samus Retired sounds like a Metroid game title.
Yeah, it really does.
You know, I really like the idea of a prologue. What if only there was another
Carter
way
Lucian.
to catch up Metroid fans on the classic Metroid games on Switch. God, like sort of collection or ports, literally anything. I mean, like there are so many. This is a sequel to Fusion. Metroid Prime Zero Mission is an
Pessoal que tá
awesome
chegando agora no canal,
the first one. The first one, yeah.
falta 15 minutos aí pro
the Game Boy one. These would be
pra
great
Namco Bandai, vai começar às 6h25, né?
I just really hope we get to see those things. Zach, 15 years in the making for this game. It's got some stealth elements this time around too, but I'm also seeing like lots. It
Quem
seems
quiser
like
trocar ideia ao vivo
how do you
aí,
feel about the sort of like
cola
fusion
no
between,
Twitch,
no pun intended,
twitch.tv/ArnaldoDK.
that classic run and gun Metroid
Me
style,
segue no
and some of
Twitter
the more
também, no
sort of,
Instagram e
overt,
no
like,
Facebook.
kinda
É
almost
tudo
like
ArnaldoDK.
Ninja Gaiden-esque combo kills that we're seeing in this game. 'Cause
Yeah,
they're
I
Dá
revenue-
aquele
really-
recadinho
I
maroto,
really
né?
love how fluid the
Valeu, Raijin. Obrigado pelo Prime, seja bem-vindo. Obrigado pelo Metroid Prime. Eita, o microfone do cara ficou em estéreo agora. Dia 4 de julho tá chegando aí o maior sorteio da história do canal, o Kit Play. PlayStation 5 com controle DualSense extra, câmera, headset e controle de mídia. Todo o kit do... A única coisa que tá faltando aí é aquela basezinha carregadora do Play, que é difícil de achar, original, né? Esse bundle aí vai ser sorteado no dia 4 de julho aqui no canal, pra quem é membro Prime. Pra quem é membro Metroid Prime aí do canal. E vamos ter outro sorteio de outro kit desse no dia 8 de agosto.
That's right.
Lembrando que vamos ter sorteio de Nintendo Switch também em julho e agosto. Vamos ter 2 Nintendo Switches em julho e 2 Nintendo Switches em agosto. A data eu ainda não pensei ainda no qual domingo vai ser. Mas os domingos serão aí de sorteio. Teremos sorteio de... Mas eu tô com 4 Switch Lights aqui pra sortear pra vocês. E mês que vem vou sortear 2 e no outro mês, no mês seguinte, agosto, vou sortear mais 2. Setembro, vamos ter sorteio de 4 Xbox, 3 Series S e 1 Series X. E eu vou colocar ainda nesses sorteios de setembro, eu vou colocar um headset igual a esse meu aqui, o Astro A50. Eu acho que eu vou colocar junto do Series X. Fazer um pequeno bundle ali do Series X. O Series X mais o headset que eu consegui pegar na promoção do Kabum. Caraca. Pô, esse filme é do Prime Video? Aí, mais um motivo pra vocês assinarem o Prime, ó. Tô vendo eles falarem desse filme aí, mas eu achei que ia estrear no cinema. E travou. Zezinho Lua, obrigado por ter renovado o Prime, velho. Aí você assinando o Prime Video pra ver o novo filme do Chris Pratt. Você pode vincular a sua conta do Prime Video no Twitch. Essa travada é de lá. Se você assinar o Prime Video não vai travar, depende da sua internet também, né? Eu não vou assinar porque o trailer tá travando. (2 de julho). Bem na hora do merchan.
If you're not following IGN on social media, what are you waiting for? We're constantly updating our feeds to bring you the latest news, gameplay, custom original content, the best user-generated videos and art, memes, and a whole lot more. Be part of the conversation throughout the year. Follow IGN on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat.
Travou na hora do trailer.
In a world with non-stop news about Marvel, DC, Star Wars, you need a show with accurate reporting, hard-hitting commentary, and
Me, Akeem Lawanson, host of IGN's news show, The Fix Entertainment. Whether it's the latest superhero scoop, film fiasco, or anime announcement, I'll be here covering all the breaking movie, TV, and streaming news that matters most to you. Make sure to catch the Fix Entertainment on IGN for your fix of entertainment news. Let's drop it.
Competition brings out the best in all of us. Well, mostly.
Oh, that's a controller break.
That's unfortunate. Welcome to
Seria legal, hein, Oquinho? Uma boa ideia. Principalmente o Tekken 3, velho.
From the triumphs
Eu tenho o Tekken 2 aqui.
to the hardship.
Original de Play 1.
The miracle moments that will go down in history.
I just can't believe it.
It's crazy. It's all here on IGN Compete.
Aquele momento do Daigo ali, né? Nunca mais, né? Não curti muito o Tekken 5, não. Eu gosto muito do daquele tag.
Not only is IGN the world's biggest media brand for games and entertainment, but we also have a team of some of the world's biggest fans of your favorite franchises. From breaking news and exclusives, never-before-seen looks at movies and games, to reviews, let's plays, and live streams, IGN brings you all the coverage you need, no matter where you are. Whether you're on IGN.com, the IGN app, YouTube, Facebook, or Snapchat, we've always got you covered. IGN, the #1 source for all games and entertainment fans worldwide.
Everybody loves watching a speedrun of their favorite game, but what if
Valeu,
you
Leon Hart. Obrigado aí por ter renovado o Prime.
those games as they watch their hard work get completely destroyed?
Meu jogo de predileto de luta também é o Tekken.
That's exactly what happens on every episode of Devs React to Speedruns. We invite you to ride along with the developers as they watch, react, and enjoy some of the craziest gameplay by the most skilled speedrunners on the planet. Tune in every Saturday for a brand new episode.
Eu não entendo esse lance. Alguns speedrunners, eles... O cara entra num buraco, faz um glitch, zero game em 3 minutos e...
IGN Compete, where we bring you the stories behind the esports headlines.
É isso aí, cara, que você vai fazer?
From the triumphs
Bom,
to the hardships to the miracle moments that
merda.
go down in history.
Tem sentido essa porra?
It's crazy. It's all
Entra, faz um bugzão, sai voando.
In a world with non-stop news about Marvel, DC, Star Wars, you need a show with accurate reporting, hard-hitting commentary, and
Me, Akeem Lawanson, host of IGN's news show, The Fix Entertainment. Whether it's the latest superhero scoop, film fiasco, or anime announcement, I'll be here covering all
Os
the
brothers é
breaking
foda.
movie, TV, and streaming news that matters most to you.
Que
Make sure to
jogo
catch the
podre.
Fix Entertainment on IGN for your fix of entertainment news. Let's drop it.
7 minutos, hein? Será que o canal da Namco Bandai BR vai fazer
E3 2021 Nintendo
legendado?
Direct post-show. We saw the Treehouse, the Direct. E3 has been going on for a while, so it might sound like I'm stringing my words together, but there's actually even more E3 to come, because in just a few minutes, the Bandai Namco Showcase kicks off, and then on Thursday, join us again for the Xbox Extended Game Showcase and the Podcast Unlocked post-show. If you missed any of this, literally any of it, you can catch up on all of it on IGN.com, on IGN's YouTube channel, across social media, even on your smart TVs, and you'll find even more content on E3's online portal featuring articles, videos, and more. We've got news, previews, trailers, gameplay breakdowns, interviews, surprises. There's so much E3. Here to say more about E3 and Nintendo specifically are my bestest friends, Casey, Zach, Joe. Hey, what's up, everyone?
It's so nice of you, Brian, to call us your bestest friends.
Well, just for now, that might change at any given moment because
Cortou. Cortou pro ar.
and it's called WarioWare Get It Together, and it has co-op. I'm so happy this game is returning. Casey, let's start with you. WarioWare.
Man,
How do you
I'm so
feel
excited.
about it?
I love WarioWare. I might have very fond memories about playing this on the DS in class. Totally shouldn't be this excited about it. But 9V is the character whose mini games, or micro games as we say, are all based off classic Nintendo games. And I saw in the back as they're scrolling through Claude from. So we're gonna have a Tea Party micro game, and that's all I need.
I noticed that they did a micro game based on like with the brand new Animal Crossing graphics.
Yeah.
Where they're, so I guess maybe 9 volts inclusion is less about classic games. We can't just there's a mini game where you can tweeze chest hair off of a man statue, which is just amazing.
Get it together, Brian.
Get it. Joe, this is out September 10th. I feel like that's a good time for this game, right? Like it's not.
Game me lembrou o Meu Nome é Maionese, aquele jogo. My name is Mayo.
As much as I am.
100%. Like, so I played a lot of the one on GBA. To the point where I left it out in the sun, the battery started leaking acid, and I would continue to play that game. It's just one of my favorite Nintendo series, and I thought it was a really good marker of this show in particular. Like, they seem to be showing some love to series that we haven't seen for a long time, like WarioWare. We're going to get onto Advance Wars, like some of these.
Essa franquia do Wario aí já é de longa data já.
Nintendo are getting another push, and I'm so excited to see this.
A ideia do jogo é uma série de minigames rápidos, né? Só que é muito rápido, cara. Isso aí é game pra você jogar com os amigos, tomando uma cerveja e tal. É jogo pra dar risada, pô, não é jogo. O pessoal leva tudo muito a sério, né?
I'm gonna say no.
A proposta do game é essa aí, zoeira com os amigos e tal. É o que nós estávamos falando do Mario Party.
Minigames, microgames, across one controller, let alone like the co-op.
Não dá pra pagar 300 reais num game desse, né?
But fun. Like, I love WarioWare so much. I'm so glad that there's a new one for Switch. I think a lot of us have been asking for WarioWare to come back, or at least make its way to the Switch for a long time. So it's awesome that it's finally here. And it's coming so soon. September is, only a couple months away at this point. And I completely agree with Joe. This whole showcase was really amazing for showing off some of the franchises that are maybe like lesser known or lesser beloved. I see a lot of people tweeting about how like, hey, this presentation, cliche as it is, it really did have a little bit of something for everyone. Like there is, if you love a Nintendo franchise, there's something here for you. And like this one specifically spoke to me because I freaking love WarioWare, man.
I wanted to talk about another franchise we saw return today. Advance Wars is coming back. Reboot Camp is out December 3rd. It's a remake of the first 2 games. We just found out that that's being done by WayForward, who are immensely talented and been doing awesome stuff with and for Nintendo for a very long time now. Advance Wars Reboot Camp is basically the first 2 GBA games with a brand new art style. How are we feeling about this one? Zach, I'll start with you.
So freaking pumped. I love Advance Wars. Advance Wars, longtime NVC listeners and fans will know that Advance Wars and Advance Wars and F-Zero are the 2 franchises that Pear and I are constantly going back and forth about. Like, where's Advance Wars? Where's F-Zero? Has Nintendo completely forgotten about these? So it's so awesome to see these, even just remakes, reimaginings of the original ones, because it at least gives us
O pessoal esperando o Donkey Kong aí, teve banana no rabo com aquele
still are thinking about these franchises.
Banana Blitz lá, Banana Monkey, Banana Ball,
reintroduce this franchise to a whole new
Super Monkey Ball, Banana Ball,
generation of potential fans. I think the big thing here is this art style. Like
caraca, eu inverti o nome todo.
Pixel art was perfect.
Super Monkey Ball, Banana Blitz.
The way that this looks.
Banana quente no lombo.
Awesome. I love the toyetic design. It kind of reminds
Banana quente no meu rabo, no teu rabo, no rabo da sua família inteira.
It's tough because this year I made a resolution. I said I was not going to replay any games that I've previously played. I was only going to focus on, playing new games, but I'll definitely make an exception for these 2 games because these are bangers.
One last thing I wanted to talk about was Tekken and Smash Brothers together at last. Kazuya has been added to the roster. He killed Kirby. Ganon was murdered. There was a lot going on there. One of the 2 Smash Brothers drops we're going to get for characters. We're at the very tail end of that very long game development cycle. Smash Brothers is almost done. Casey, real quick.
Teve gente falando de GTA 6, pô.
I liked the art. And also, Kirby did not get killed because Kirby is indestructible. Final
Banana Blitz.
Ultimate trailer, and he survived.
GTA 6 Banana Blitz, porra.
All right.
It's up to him to save everyone from Kazuya.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have all survived throwing off the cliff that is E3, but there's just a little bit left.
Francisco.
I want to thank my Nintendo friends here, or my Super Nintendos. for rocking with us. Coming up next, we have the Bandai Namco E3 presentation. So let's see what else the studio behind Dark Souls, Elden Ring, and Boruto have in store for E3. Or we can keep hanging out. I'm down with that.
Yeah, are we still up? Are we still up and running?
All right.
Because there we go.
There it is.
HQ Jordan, obrigado aí, velho. Começou. Eu acho que começou, né?
Shall we see how many have fallen into shadow?
Satellite sweeps of the war zone have uncovered what appears
Consegui tirar essa legenda aí, cara.
But I strongly suspect where chemical weapons are hidden, so we need to move fast.
To descend into the unknown alone is extremely brave. Or extremely foolish.
We're gonna psy out this shit.
Brothers in arms, or will it be a case of each man for himself?
Get down! They're up on the ridge! Return fire!
You teeter on the edge of an abyss. Your survival depends on the choices you make. They will be as a compass, guiding you through the unknown.
Where on God's green earth have we landed?
What nightmare have these luckless souls fallen into?
You keep lookout.
Lookout? Lookout for what?
One by one, their lights will be snuffed out. Unless you can find the means to save them. Trapped beneath the earth, swallowed
We have to move, let's go.
by the void. Will you find the path to salvation? Or be lost in the darkness forever?
Cara, de ser maneiro esse Man of Medan aí. House of Ashes.
We're here at Supermassive to talk about the next game in the Dark Pictures anthology, House of Ashes.
A cadeira maneira.
By exec producer Dan. How you
Poltrona
doing?
maneira.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. Right,
Really cool.
so let's start at the very start. We're going to be talking about House of Ashes for most of the interview, but for those that don't know, tell us about the Dark Pictures anthology.
The Dark Pictures is a series of narrative, story-driven, branching horror stories. Each one is standalone. They each tell a different story, completely separated from the others, but within the same universe, so there is connection between them all. House of Ashes is set at the end of the Iraq War in 2003, with links 4,000 years ago that set the story up.
So tell us more about the theme and themes, I suppose, within House of Ashes.
It starts off with a military unit. They've got some new technology that can look for weapons of mass destruction underground. They think they've identified something in the Zagros Mountains in Iraq. And then as part of that, they come into conflict with an Iraqi unit. There's a pitched firefight, and then the two groups are plunged underground. There's an earthquake of some sort, and it's revealed that there's a hidden temple underground. These big massive structures, but these different groups, they're all separated, radio contact is lost, and they're submerged in this black darkness.
Where on God's green earth have we landed?
And then they're going to start hearing things and seeing things, and people are going to start disappearing.
What the f just happened?
So this time it's a very real threat.
All of the Dark Pictures games, they all pull something from real life or from history, from fact. What's the case with the myth or historical part of House of Ashes?
So we love looking at and reading myths and legends and stories and doing our research, and we know our fans love it as well because there's something that they can link into afterwards, and I love doing that when I'm playing games or watching movies myself. So this one's set 4,000 years ago, the Akkadian Empire, and this terrible evil that happened. We had this self-proclaimed god king, Naram Sin, and he essentially cursed his people. He sacked this temple and brought famine and devastation to his own people. And so a lot of the history is lost, but we've done a lot of research about it. And then we had a lot of happy accidents that linked into the story we wanted to tell. And the fun thing for us is we get to do our own take on it. We get to twist it, and obviously we've made our own truth from it.
At the end of the sneak peek, the trailer, we saw monsters. Tell us a bit more about what's going on there.
The military unit that you're playing as, they don't really know what they're coming up against. They're not human, they're bigger, they're larger, they're faster.
A ordem é Man of... O Little Hope é o segundo na trilogia, né? Sem contar o Showdown, que é exclusivo. Mas da trilogia Man of Medan.
Maybe they're like a cluster.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
they all pop
a
out
nest,
at once.
as it were.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun to work on and see these things move around and how horrific they can be. They're different to us. They perceive the world in a different way. Getting little snippets.
Como eu joguei o primeiro nem o segundo, eu vou esperar sair o terceiro. De repente rola até uma promoção, comprar os 3 por um preço interessante, né?
Stuck in the catacomb.
Who's there?
We like to try and misdirect people on things, you know, that did you see something, did you not? And that's a great thing within horror, that you think you're going to be scared right now, and we're not going to scare you now. We'll scare you in a minute when you're not expecting it.
It's always coming.
Yeah, always.
So should we expect a huge amount of peril in the game?
Definitely. We love to do it. You know, it's fun for us to work on, as horrific as it is, and we know that our fans love it as well. So yeah, there's at least 60 unique deaths, and there's a whole ton of variation on that as well. So Merwin and some of the others, you're going to see different things happening to them depending on how you play it out, you know, getting ripped and shredded and torn, and because there's a firefight, there's going to be bullets flying as well and all kinds of stuff. And it's not just the deaths, it's the gore that goes along with it, and you know, lots of blood.
Wicked. It sounds absolutely terrifying. I'm in.
Not gonna lie, man. It's pretty bad.
What differences have you made or changes have you made to the gameplay and mechanics for House of Ashes?
We're always evolving the Dark Pictures. We listen to a lot of the feedback from our fans, and also our team, what they want to do, how they want to push things forward. So we tried some stuff in Little Hope with you know, more camera control, 360 cameras at certain parts, and we've really leaned on that again, and it really works well. In House of Ashes, lots of the game is set underground, and so these sort of corridors which are really tight and oppressive.
Creepy.
Yeah, indeed. So we've had to learn, because you take away the fixed cameras, and that takes away some opportunities for horror. But we've had to learn new tricks to scare people and, you know, ramp up the tension and you know, the chance for jump scares, which you know some people love. We've also got a new torch mechanic, so you know, it's military themed. So these guys are going to be walking around with weapons, with torches mounted on them. We love the lighting that we do, this sort of really inky black darkness that we have, and sort of the contrast to the bright areas. And so you're going to need to lean on that torch to allow you to see where you're going, what the threat is, and that kind of stuff. We've also done things like added difficulty settings to this game. So in Little Hope we added you know, QTE warning icons as an example, and we've got some really good positive feedback about that, but also some people want to turn that off. We want to allow you to play the game in your way. So with our accessibility settings and difficulty settings, if you want to have a more casual experience, you can change those settings. Still, most of your characters are going to end up dead, but you know, that's
spoilers,
what happens,
yeah,
indeed.
but that's what we come here for. That's
Yeah.
okay, we can deal with it. So I've got to ask, what was it like working with Ashley?
So Ashley was fantastic. She researched Rachel. She understood her when she came on the set, which is so refreshing. She knew her inside out. And Rachel is a flawed character, so she brought that through so fantastically. The rest of the cast were fantastic as well.
When we were looking for Joey, Salim helped me.
You didn't tell me this because...
You'd flip your shit.
We want you to connect to these characters and understand them as humans. We want them to seem real because they're real to us. You know, we spend a long time designing them, and I don't mind if you hate any one individual
Sempre tem ator ali, ator conhecido ou alguém que você já viu em algum outro filme, né?
Maybe you're like them once
Nesses,
they're dead
and you feel bad about it.
Esses games.
But also we want you to save
franquia.
them. We want you to try and save them. You know, we know that some people want to get everyone killed straight away, and that's fine. That's their playthrough. Cool. That's what they want to do. But you know, can you get everyone out alive and save as many as you can?
There's a lot of replayability there.
Indeed,
Goes on forever. I like that. So, last question. Favorite scene?
Favorite scene. So, Salim, our Iraqi soldier, and Jason Kolchak, one of the Marines that's there. There's a way that can play out, and a sort of contest between them, and you can make it go in a number of different ways.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
It's really emotional. Seeing them film it, I was lucky enough to be there, and then seeing that come through in game, I think we've got something there. I think that's gold. And then, of course, I love scaring people, so I love the jump scares. I love the moments of tension that we bring. We can't hold you in that moment, so we've got some fantastic jokes in there as well to allow you to relax for a moment before we scare you again.
To take your mind off the imminent threat. I like that. Dan, thank you so much. This has been really cool to talk about, and I'm sure, you know, I'm excited and terrified in equal part, and everyone else is just excited, I'm sure of it.
And it's been a real pleasure to speak to you, and I can't wait to get it into people's hands.
It's going to happen.
Azuzu Edition.
Before we dive in, the House of Ashes, see how scared you got. Of course, we want to thank Razer for being one of the E3 2021 sponsors. Of course, giving us these tired old blades nobody cares about. But this Blade 14 RTX 3080 built right in. Of course, the Razer.
I'm taking that.
Thank you so much. No, I'm taking that.
Okay, we'll fight.
Okay, well,
we've done it before.
You know,
Hey, João.
I'll be a little.
Oh. Fomos enganados. O que aconteceu? Vamos ver aqui.
And
it's
the last part of that is just a
coverage of E3 2021. I'm Lucy James, and joining me is Timur Hussein.
No more bubble guts.
O que aconteceu, gente? É isso aí mesmo? Acabou?
And Persia. Hi, Persia.
Hello.
Good to have you here. Now, we just caught a little press conference there.
Acabou ou vai ter ainda? Ou...
And the last part of that is just a
Aqui
shot.
tá dizendo que falta 30 minutos.
It's supposedly coming next year. And
Vai
they
ser
said
7 horas a
they went out
parada?
of their
Não
way
é
to say that
possível.
they're aiming for 2022, which means, you know, maybe not. We'll see. But I think the thing that's most interesting is all the theories that are flying around right now about, is it set across multiple timelines? Are you playing different characters? How does
Maruan acabou de entregar paladinismo, hein, Maruan? Parabéns aí, cara. Não sabia que você era desse, já caiu muito no meu conceito, cara. Maruan. Cara, vou entrar no canal da Voxel aqui.
Isso aí foi que eles comentaram, né, que dessa vez tem a ameaça real dos monstros. Eu não cheguei a jogar os outros dois anteriores.
Eles estão assistindo o GameSpot, cara.
I was gonna say, because, yeah, the dev was saying.
We had the VO panel yesterday, which was great. Yeah. And it just goes to show, right? Like the impact that video games are having. Hollywood stars coming in, you know, lending their voice, lending their face, their acting, their skills to this, really bringing these
Vai ser
characters
só
to
isso,
life.
5 minutos, cara.
Even more layers to this horror.
That's a huge thing. If you've never played before, performance capture is a huge deal for Supermassive. They go through, they use the facial animation. They want you to feel like you're watching a movie. So we will see soon enough how the Dark Pictures anthology pans out this time around with House of Ashes. But for now, let's toss it over to the one, the only, Jackie Jane.
Brothers in arms, or each man for himself. Survival depends on choice. Will you find the path to save everyone, or be lost in the darkness? I'm sorry, I'm just a little excited about this title. Dan, I saw you taking lots of notes.
Cara, só isso mesmo.
Mechanics, actually, but I know you're really thrilled with the story
Que
as well.
merda,
I mean,
hein?
I am here for this. So.
Valeu, Felipe Ferreira. Obrigado aí pelo Prime, velho.
More about the setting, you know, it's really tying in a lot of ancient lore about the Akkadian Empire. You have Naram Sin, this guy who declared himself like the God King of the
Eu achei que eu tava livre desses bordões de merda.
coming back to haunt us in modern day. It's
Foda.
also interesting to use the Iraq War as a setting. It is definitely a fraught time period and event.
Eu acho que é isso aí, cara.
But also, I think a rich sort of backdrop for horror into this setting, because you're tapping into sort of Mesopotamian
Pazuzu no bumbum.
demons who's tormenting all of these soldiers.
Cara,
I'm
que
really
E3 de merda, hein? Puta que
I
pariu.
told you, I was taking notes. I did some research.
Eu fiquei o dia inteiro esperando essa porra aqui.
60 death animations.
I know the 60 unique death.
Caralho, velho. Eu podia ter encerrado a live na Nintendo mesmo e
Avi, what are you thinking?
saído fora.
Thinking that if I'm ever trapped in like a dark cave, I'm probably gonna stick next to
With
Dan
Dan?
because
Yeah.
he understands what we should be doing. King of what now? You're looking up all this history on Pazuzu?
He's the king of wind demons. No big deal.
Come on, everybody knows that. I don't even know what the King of Wind Demons is. What was it?
Oh, he's Pazuzu.
Cara.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
You may remember
Pazuzu.
him from The Exorcist as well.
Yes. Okay. Avi, you were obviously a big fan of the server like
Isso foi
like I could go on.
pra fechar a E3 com chave de fezes, velho.
But Avi, you know, we've been talking about Resident Evil Village like at length. We both like horror survival, but also like when someone's playing with us. And I thought that it's great that it's co-op, so we can be scared together while we play.
É isso, pessoal.
Não
tem mais nada, eu acho. Não tem mais nada da Namco. Eles só vieram pra 5 minutos do Man of Medan 3.
These teenagers to safety. I'm going to step on a branch and individually kill them all. But Dan was going into like the history of all of it, and I'm going as like, oh, 2003. That's a little too close. And I didn't pass all my history classes, but I hope that Pazuzu doesn't, you know.
Daqui a pouco eu volto aí com as ofertas da semana pro Xbox.
They showed us Pazuzu. They showed us the monster. They showed us what it looks like.
É isso, pessoal. E3 aí, maravilhosa.
Usually with horror games, you don't.
Eu acho que eu acho que ano que vem a única empresa que veio com uma proposta de ainda tentar fazer algo relevante na E3 foi a Microsoft com o Xbox, porque o resto Nintendo Direct foi fraca, a Capcom foi ridícula, a Ubisoft também. Ubisoft e Nintendo foram mais ou menos ali, né? A Nintendo foi um pouco melhor, só por causa do Zelda mesmo. Capcom foi ridícula. Take-Two não foi pra E3, né? Porque ficaram só no bate-papo lá. A E3 está se tornando um evento cada vez mais irrelevante, né? O que salvou foi a Summer Game Fest lá do Jeff, que foi um evento legalzinho ali. Mas, cara, E3 extremamente fraca.
Yeah, and they showed the actors doing the motion capture. I love horror movies, I love horror games. I'm a kind of a
Então é isso aí, pessoal.
I love blood and guts and I love kill gags. So like I'm looking forward to see all the
Quem tá nos outros canais aí, tô encerrando por aqui, vou continuar no Twitch.
Oh boy.
Um grande abraço. E é isso. E3 no rabo do povo.
I can't talk. Games have changed and evolved.